The sky over the Mojave Desert was unusually clear, a perfect backdrop for the unexpected drama unfolding in its sands. At the remote observation outpost, the evening calm was shattered when the radar technician, Emily, called out, "Contact! Something's entering the atmosphere." Jack Harper, who had been reviewing satellite data, rushed over. "Are you sure it's not just another satellite?" Emily shook her head, adjusting her headset. "No, it's too big and slowing down. It's landing." Within minutes, the team at the outpost mobilized, with Jack leading the expedition. As they approached the coordinates, the sight of a smoldering alien craft embedded in the desert floor left them in awe. "Stay sharp, everyone. We don't know what's waiting for us," Jack cautioned, his hand resting on the pistol at his belt. The hatch of the alien vessel creaked open. A figure emerged, staggering, its suit torn and emitting faint lights. Jack stepped forward, his palms open and facing outward in a universal gesture of peace. "Hello, we mean no harm," Jack called out. The figure paused, its helmet retracting to reveal a face unlike any human's, with translucent skin and bright, intelligent eyes. The alien spoke in a raspy voice. "Help, please." Jack approached slowly, offering his hand. "I'm Jack Harper. How can we assist you?" "My name is Soren of the Corvin," the alien introduced itself as it steadied its breath. "My people are peaceful explorers, but the Dredens, they follow us. They will come for your planet now." Jack's team exchanged nervous glances. "How can we prepare? Can you tell us what to expect?" Soren nodded, leaning heavily against the hull of his ship. "I can provide technology, information, but you must promise to protect my crew." Jack didn't hesitate. "You have my word. We'll do whatever it takes." As they helped Soren and two other Corvin crew members into their mobile unit, Jack's mind raced. Earth was about to enter a conflict spanning the stars, and time was not on their side. Back at the outpost, Soren shared his knowledge. "The Dredens are conquerors, relentless and cruel, but your species has potential. With our help, you can stand against them." Jack worked late into the night, poring over the alien blueprints and schematics Soren had provided. The designs were beyond any human technology, but with the looming threat, mastering them was their only chance. "We start training tomorrow," Jack decided, his determination unwavering. "It's not just about survival anymore. It's about defending our home." As the first light of dawn broke over the desert, the weight of their new reality settled in. Earth was no longer just a solitary planet in a vast universe, but a pivotal battleground in an interstellar war. Inside the secure conference room at the United Nations headquarters in New York, Jack Harper stood before a gathering of world leaders, his face illuminated by the glow of the presentation behind him. Each seat was filled, a rare occurrence that underscored the gravity of the situation. "Ladies and gentlemen," Jack began, his voice steady despite the weight of his message, "we face an unprecedented threat. The alien race known as the Dredens is coming, and their history with the Corvins suggests they will not come in peace." A murmur swept through the room as Jack clicked to the next slide, showing images of devastated Corvin colonies. These were thriving communities just like ours, destroyed by the Dredens' greed. "We have a chance to prepare, thanks to the Corvin survivors who sought refuge with us." The Russian delegate leaned forward, skepticism etched across his face. "And we are to mobilize based on the testimony of these aliens. How can we trust them?" Jack met his gaze. "Because we've seen their technology and what it can do. Because they came to us in peace, and because we know what happens if we do nothing." The Chinese ambassador raised a hand. "What exactly are you proposing, Mr. Harper?" "We unite," Jack stated plainly. "We combine our resources, share technology, and build a defense system based on the schematics the Corvin have provided. We prepare to defend not just our own, but any other world threatened by the Dredens." A British advisor interjected. "And the cost?" Jack looked around the room, his resolve clear. "Can we really put a price on our survival?" After hours of debate, the room's tension finally began to shift toward a reluctant consensus. The decision was made to form a coalition. Each nation would contribute according to its capability. No one would stand alone. As the meeting adjourned, Jack was approached by an unexpected ally, the Brazilian representative, Dr. Lucia Mendes, a brilliant scientist in her own right. "Mr. Harper, I believe we can enhance the Corvin technology. My team has ideas. Perhaps together we can innovate faster." Grateful, Jack nodded. "We'll need all the help we can get, Dr. Mendez. Let's talk." Over the next few weeks, an unprecedented global effort unfolded. Research teams across the world collaborated around the clock, their usual pursuits set aside. Factories that once produced consumer goods were repurposed to create defense systems and spacecraft. In a high-security facility in Geneva, Jack and Lucia oversaw the assembly of the first prototype defense satellite, incorporating Corvin technology with human engineering. It was a symbol of Earth's newfound unity and determination. Lucia, watching the technicians at work, turned to Jack. "Do you think we'll be ready in time?" Jack watched as the satellite's core was carefully lowered into position. "We have to be," he replied simply. "There's no other option." As they left the facility, the first test satellites launched into the evening sky, a tangible sign of Earth's readiness to face the coming storm. Far above, they joined a growing network of sentinels, Earth's first line of defense against the approaching enemy. Tension gripped the command center as radar screens began to flicker with incoming contacts. Jack Harper stood firm, watching the blips multiply. Beside him, military leaders from around the world monitored the data feeds, ready to coordinate their forces. "Contact confirmed. Dren fleet approaching from Vector 37K, announced a technician, her voice steady despite the rising alarm. Jack took a deep breath, turning to General Chen, the coalition's appointed military commander. "General, initiate defensive protocol Alpha." General Chen nodded and relayed orders into his headset. Across Earth, air raid sirens wailed, and citizens sought shelter. Above, the newly launched satellite network powered up, their weaponry targeting the approaching enemy. The first wave of dren ships entered Earth's orbit, their hulls gleaming ominously. As they positioned themselves over major cities, the satellite network unleashed a barrage of energy pulses. Bright flashes lit the space above Earth as dren shields absorbed the impacts. Jack watched the battle unfold on the screens, his heart racing. "Status report." "Their shields are holding, sir. We're recalibrating for a second volley," responded a technician, her fingers flying over the controls. On the main screen, a larger dren ship, clearly a command vessel, took position. It launched a series of projectiles that penetrated the atmosphere, descending toward Earth. "Intercept those missiles," Jack ordered. Anti-air defenses across the globe responded, and the sky lit up with countermeasures. Most of the dren projectiles were destroyed, but a few made it through, striking their targets and sending plumes of smoke into the sky. "Damage reports coming in, sir. Minimal casualties thanks to the evacuations. The defense systems are mostly holding," reported General Chen. Jack nodded, relieved but tense. "Keep pressing. Every second we hold them off is another second to strengthen our defenses." The drens intensified their attack, unleashing a second wave of fighters from their larger vessels. Earth's fighter pilots, including Jack, suited up and headed to their ships, a fleet of advanced spacecraft designed with Corvin technology. Climbing into his cockpit, Jack felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. He led a squadron into the fray, weaving through the chaos of battle. The sky above was a storm of energy beams and explosions. "Harper to squadron, focus on those fighters. Protect the satellites," he commanded over the comms. The dogfights were intense, with Earth's pilots testing their limits against the dren invaders. Jack downed several enemy ships, his targeting systems locking on with deadly precision. Suddenly, a massive dren cruiser began a descent toward Earth's surface. "That ship is trying to land. We can't let it deploy ground forces," Jack realized. He directed his squadron toward the cruiser, their combined firepower targeting its engines. The ship faltered, its descent slowing as it took heavy damage. "Direct hit on the dren cruiser's main engine. It's going down," cheered one of the pilots. Jack watched as the burning hulk of the dren cruiser crashed into a remote desert area, minimizing potential casualties. Cheers erupted in the command center and among the squadrons, but Jack remained focused. "Regroup and prepare for another wave. This battle isn't over yet," he cautioned. Back at the command center, General Chen approached Jack as he landed. "Harper, your tactics saved countless lives today, but the drens will regroup. We need to stay vigilant." Jack nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "We've shown them Earth won't fall easily. Now, we need to keep fighting, keep believing." As the sun set over a scarred but defiant Earth, Jack knew this was just the beginning of humanity's fight for survival. The dren onslaught was a harsh introduction to interstellar warfare, but it had also ignited a new resolve in humanity to protect their home, no matter the cost. In the aftermath of the dren onslaught, the smoldering ruins of a dren cruiser lay scattered across the Nevada desert. Jack Harper, alongside a team of elite special forces and engineers, approached the wreckage under the cover of darkness. Their mission was clear: infiltrate the downed ship, gather intelligence, and if possible, secure any advanced technology. Everyone, eyes sharp. We don't know if there are survivors or automated defenses still active, Jack cautioned, his voice low. The team nodded, their weapons ready as they moved through the twisted metal and debris. Inside the cruiser, the air was thick with the smell of burnt circuitry and alien chemicals. The corridors were dimly lit by emergency lights, casting long shadows that made the alien architecture even more imposing. Jack led the way, his tactical light piercing the darkness. They reached what appeared to be the ship's command center. Amidst the chaos of shattered consoles and flickering screens, a holographic map still glowed faintly. Jack gestured to the tech specialist, Lieutenant Garcia, to begin the data extraction. Garcia worked quickly, connecting his portable device to the alien console. I'm in, but it's complicated. Their encryption is unlike anything we've seen before. As Garcia decrypted the data, the rest of the team secured the perimeter. Suddenly, a low groan echoed through the ship. Instantly, the team tightened their formation, weapons trained on the source of the noise. From the shadows, a wounded dren emerged, its armor cracked and its movements sluggish. Before it could react, Jack stepped forward, his weapon trained on the alien. We don't want to hurt you. We can help, he offered. The dren hesitated, then, recognizing its dire situation, it lowered its weapon. Help me, it rasped in broken English, surprising the team with its ability to communicate. Jack kept his weapon ready, but nodded to the medic to provide first aid. What happened here? He asked, seizing the opportunity to learn more. The command, overruled. We didn't want this conflict, the dren revealed, its voice fading. As the medic administered care, Garcia interrupted with a breakthrough. Captain, I've got something. This map, it's not just navigational. It's a network of dren-occupied worlds and their strategic resources. Jack studied the holographic display, a web of connections and nodes spreading across the galaxy. This could change everything. We can find their weaknesses, predict their moves. The team extracted as much data as possible, recording the map's details and downloading critical files. With their objectives achieved, Jack made the call to evacuate, ensuring the dren prisoner was brought along for further interrogation. Back at the Coalition Command Center, the data from the dren ship was analyzed. The information provided a wealth of strategic options, outlining potential targets for counterattacks and supply lines that could be disrupted. Jack met with General Chen and the other Coalition leaders to discuss their next move. This intelligence gives us a fighting chance to take the battle to them, to hit them where it hurts, Jack argued, laying out a plan for a series of precise strikes on lesser-defended dren outposts. The leaders agreed, and preparations began for what would be humanity's first offensive move in the war. Jack felt a mix of anticipation and resolve as he left the meeting. They had gained a foothold, a crucial advantage, and now it was time to act. As night fell, the desert quiet returned. But the lights burning late into the night at the command center were a testament to the relentless human spirit, now fully engaged in the fight for their place in the universe. The atmosphere aboard the diplomatic shuttle was tense as it cruised towards Zephyr, a neutral trade planet at the crossroads of multiple star systems. Jack Harper, having been at the forefront of Earth's defense, now carried the heavy responsibility of forging alliances with other civilizations. As the shuttle landed, Jack stepped onto the bustling spaceport of Zephyr. The air was filled with a mix of exotic scents and the murmur of hundreds of alien languages. His liaison officer, a local named Zinn, greeted him with a nod. Welcome to Zephyr, Captain Harper. If you're ready, I'll take you to the council now. Jack followed Zinn through the crowded streets, his eyes taking in the colorful market stalls and diverse inhabitants of Zephyr. He marveled at the peaceful coexistence of so many different species, a stark contrast to the battle-scarred Earth he had left behind. In the council chamber, representatives of various races gathered, their expressions ranging from curious to cautious as Jack was introduced. He wasted no time, laying out the situation with the dredens and Earth's recent encounters. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack began, his voice firm, I stand before you not just as a representative of Earth, but as a defender of our shared freedom. The dredens pose a threat not only to us, but to all civilizations that cherish peace. A murmur swept through the chamber. A Trini representative, a being covered in luminous scales, spoke up. Why should we involve ourselves in your war? What can you offer us in return? Jack nodded, expecting this question. We offer knowledge and protection. The technology we've acquired and developed can be shared among us. Together, we can stand against the Dredens more effectively than any of us could alone. The negotiations were lengthy and intense. Each representative had their concerns and demands, from defense technologies to economic support. Jack navigated these diplomatically, offering assurances and forging tentative agreements. After hours of discussion, the chamber began to sway towards a consensus. The Zuvoki, a race of skilled engineers, were the first to formally pledge their support, intrigued by the technological advancements Jack proposed. Others followed, drawn by the promise of mutual protection and shared advancements. With a coalition of alien races beginning to form, Jack and his new allies planned their next steps. They agreed to share intelligence and coordinate defense strategies. A joint command was established on Zephyr, symbolizing their united front. As the meeting adjourned, Zinn approached Jack, a smile breaking through his typically stoic demeanor. Captain Harper, it seems you've ignited a spark of hope here today. Jack smiled back, feeling a mix of relief and determination. Let's hope that spark catches fire, Zinn. We're going to need all the help we can get. Leaving the council chamber, Jack looked up at the stars, now not just as distant lights in the sky, but as homes to allies. He knew the road ahead was fraught with danger, but for the first time since the Dreden threat emerged, he felt a real hope that they could defend not just Earth, but all worlds threatened by tyranny. As Jack returned to his shuttle, the agreements made today echoed in his mind, a solid foundation for what he hoped would be a turning point in the interstellar war against the Dredens. The battle for Earth had evolved into a galactic struggle for freedom, and humanity was no longer fighting alone. With a newfound alliance bolstering their ranks, Jack Harper coordinated a series of guerrilla attacks against the Dreden outposts scattered across contested star systems. The strategy was clear: hit fast, hit hard, and retreat before the enemy could regroup. It was a style of warfare that the Dredens, accustomed to straightforward battles, were ill prepared for. Aboard the command ship Liberator, orbiting the resource-rich planet of Minara, Jack briefed his mixed team of human and Zuvoki pilots. Our target is the Dredan fuel depot on Minara's third moon. We cripple their fuel supply, we slow down their fleet. Precision is key. The pilots nodded, their faces set with determination as they climbed into their crafts, which bore the markings of their respective civilizations, a symbol of their unity. Jack watched from the command deck as the squadrons darted towards the moon, their ships a blur against the backdrop of space. The attack was swift. Plasma torpedoes rained down on the Dreden depot, igniting the fuel reserves. Explosions lit up the moon's surface, casting a fiery glow that could be seen even from orbit. Jack monitored the operation, the screens on the Liberator flashing with updates. Depot is destroyed, Captain. Mission successful, reported Lieutenant Sia, her voice a mix of relief and triumph. Good work. All units execute retreat protocol Delta, Jack ordered. The pilots expertly maneuvered their crafts out of enemy range, leaving behind a devastated Dreden facility. But the victory was not without cost. The Dredens, enraged by the attack, launched a counter-assault on a nearby Allied outpost on Tavos. Jack received the distress call while the pilots were still en route back to the Liberator. We have Dreden fighters incoming. We need immediate support. The voice crackled over the comm. Without hesitation, Jack directed the returning squadrons to divert to Tavos. Protect that outpost, he commanded, the weight of command heavy on his shoulders. As the battle unfolded on Tavos, Jack coordinated the defense from the Liberator, his eyes never leaving the tactical displays. The Allied forces, though caught off guard, responded with fierce resistance. The Dredens found themselves in a chaotic dogfight, their numerical advantage nullified by the superior tactics and teamwork of Jack's coalition. The skirmish lasted hours, stretching into the cold Tavos night. Finally, the Dreden forces, unable to secure their objective, retreated into the darkness of space. The outpost was battered but held firm, a testament to the resilience of the coalition. Back on the Liberator, Jack addressed his team, his voice weary but proud. Today we've shown the Dredens that they can no longer bully their way through the galaxy. We stand united, and we will take the fight to them, wherever they hide. As news of the victories spread across the Allied networks, morale soared. Civilizations that had once cowered in fear of the Dredens now rallied under Jack's banner, eager to contribute to the cause. Each victory, each act of defiance, strengthened the bonds between the Allied races, and forged a formidable force against their common enemy. With the tide of war slowly turning, Jack knew the real battle was just beginning. The Dredens would retaliate, and he needed to be ready. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of quiet satisfaction as he gazed out at the stars, a sky no longer filled with threats, but with possibilities. The Coalition's momentum built rapidly, culminating in a daring plan to strike at the heart of Dreden power, Dreda, their home planet. Jack Harper, standing before his assembled commanders in the war room, pointed to the holographic map displaying their target. "This is our moment," Jack declared, his voice resonant in the silent room. "We strike Dreda directly, disrupting their command structure and sowing chaos. It's risky, but the intelligence from our previous raids gives us a fighting chance." The plan was multifaceted. A simultaneous attack on Dreda's military hubs and its communication arrays to cripple the Dreden response capabilities. With every detail reviewed, the Allied fleet, a mingling of myriad races' ships, prepared for the jump to Dreda. As they emerged from hyperspace, Dreda loomed before them, a planet encased in formidable defense systems. The battle commenced with a fierce exchange of fire. Energy beams crisscrossed the void, illuminating space with their deadly dance. Jack piloted his ship directly towards the main command center, a massive structure located on Dreda's northern hemisphere. His squadron, a mix of human and allied pilots, covered him, engaging Dreden fighters in intense aerial combat. The Coalition forces made significant inroads, with ground troops landing and pushing towards key facilities. Jack's team breached the command center, encountering stiff resistance. Dreden soldiers, desperate to protect their stronghold, fought back with relentless vigor. In the heart of the command center, Jack encountered the Dreden overlord, a towering figure clad in ornate armor. Their duel was brutal, each combatant trading blows with lethal intent. Jack, leveraging human ingenuity and the agility of his enhanced armor, eventually gained the upper hand, disarming the overlord. With the command center under Coalition control, Jack initiated the final phase of their plan, broadcasting a call for peace to the Dreden populace, exposing the atrocities committed by their leaders. "People of Dreda, we come not as conquerors, but as liberators." Jack's voice echoed through every channel, reaching every corner of the planet. "Your leaders have fallen. Lay down your arms and join us in building a future of peace." The response was immediate and surprising. Dreden civilians, long oppressed under their leader's regime, rose up, seizing the opportunity for change. Military units, unsure of their command, ceased fire, and the tide turned decisively in favor of Jack's coalition. In the aftermath, Jack walked through the liberated streets of Dreda, Coalition soldiers being greeted as heroes. The Dredens, recognizing the sincerity of the Liberators' intentions, began talks of joining the Coalition, eager to erase the dark chapters of their history. Back at the command center, now a temporary peacekeeping base, Jack met with his commanders, reflecting on the cost of their victory. "We've achieved something monumental today," he said, surveying the faces of his diverse and weary team. "But our work has just begun. We must ensure that this new peace lasts longer than the war that preceded it." As the sun set over a quieting Dreda, a sense of cautious optimism filled the air. The battle for Dreda was over, but the journey towards a lasting peace across the galaxy was just starting. With humanity at the forefront of this new alliance, the future, once clouded by war, now shone with the promise of unity. As dawn's gentle light bathed the capital of Dreda, Jack Harper stood at the command center's balcony, overlooking the city as it stirred to life. Today marked the inauguration of the Galactic Council, a testament to the unity forged from the fires of conflict. Representatives from across the Coalition's diverse member races were gathering, their participation a symbol of their commitment to a shared future. Inside the newly designated council chamber, the air buzzed with a mix of anticipation and the diverse tonalities of alien languages. The chamber itself, once a stark Dreden military command room, had been transformed into a vibrant forum decorated with symbols of peace and cooperation. Jack, acting as the provisional head due to his instrumental role in the Coalition's victory, called the session to order. His voice echoed with authority and hope. "Today we stand at the threshold of a new era. Together, we have the power to shape a galaxy where freedom and respect govern over fear and tyranny." The first motion was the establishment of a galactic peace force, a joint military and humanitarian fleet, to maintain stability and assist worlds still reeling from the war. The The proposal was met with unanimous approval, a promising start to the Council's ambitious agenda. Discussions followed regarding economic initiatives to stimulate trade and rebuild war-torn sectors. Jack proposed an interstellar development fund, supported by wealthier planets to aid less fortunate systems, promoting prosperity as a pillar of peace. As the Council debated, Jack stepped aside with Tali, a Trini diplomat whose insights had been crucial in navigating the negotiations. "We're making history, aren't we?" Tali remarked, her bioluminescent features glowing softly with emotion. Jack nodded, his gaze returning to the busy floor below. "Yes, we're laying down the roads they'll walk tomorrow. Let's ensure they lead to a better place." The session culminated in the drafting of the Charter of Galactic Rights, enshrined to protect the freedoms and dignity of all sentient beings. As each representative signed, there was a sense of solemnity and celebration intermingled in the air. With the charter ratified, the assembly concluded with a standing ovation, the sound resonating through the chamber. Jack felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The dream of a united galaxy was no longer a distant star, but a world they were actively building. As night fell over Dreda, the city lit up with celebrations. Fireworks burst in the sky, illuminating the faces of countless species gathered in harmony. Jack walked among them, each handshake and smile from former foes and new friends reinforcing the reality of peace. Reflecting on the day's events as he returned to his quarters, Jack knew the path ahead would be fraught with challenges. Yet, the spirit of cooperation that filled the council chamber gave him hope. They had turned the page on an era of division, stepping into a dawn bright with the promise of peace. The war had taught them the cost of division, but the peace would be built on the strength of their unity. This was their new beginning, the start of an age where humanity and its allies would thrive together under the shared stars.